Hello and welcome to Chan Draws Dota, the show where I describe characters from Dota 2 to Chan, an artist with no Dota experience, so he must draw them based solely on my description. This is episode Bloodseeker. Bloodseeker is the fast, half-naked, snarly man creature in red clothes. He's humanoid, so he stands on his two legs, and he's leaning forward really far, so it looks like he's kind of mid-sprint. But he holds his arms out and back, like wings, and he has big arm blades, or bladed tonfa that go along his forearms, which add to this wing-like effect, so he kind of looks like a bird. He's very buff, and his skin is like tan or very light brown. He wears a leather helmet that's like dark brown with big blood red designs. This helmet covers the entire top half of his head, including his nose and eyes. There are parts that hang down covering the sides of his head, and these are connected to the top with big stitches at his nearest temples. So all you can see of his actual face is his huge, lipless, snarling, toothy mouth. It looks like the mouth of Sauron, like from the Lord of the Rings movies and books, but not quite so gross. His face skin is somewhat darker than the rest of his body skin. And on the helmet there's a big red V shape coming down, and two red hook-like shapes where his eyes would be, so the design kind of vaguely completes his face. There's a dense layer of large, thick, black feathers fanned out the back of his helmet that are sticking up in a kind of like 1/3 of a pie shape, or like a fan. It's dense enough so that you can't see through it. His clothes, for some reason, they kind of remind me of religious robes, but like erotically designed. Like when you dress up for Halloween or Easter as a sexy cult leader. He's mostly shirtless, but wears a red short cape with dark red designs on it. The cape splits into a wide V, and it's short enough so that it doesn't go past his waist. The cape comes up around his neck in a very wide collar that covers nearly both of his shoulders and his upper chest. And on top of his wide collar is a large necklace of like dinosaur teeth. They're just big white spikes that go out in a ring around his head. So I assume they're like teeth or tusks or something. Though I think if you don't treat stuff like that, they would just decay over time. So maybe he replaces them a lot because they're very white and they look well kept. He doesn't really seem like the type of person who would chemically treat his jewelry. Well, maybe that's what he's always grimacing and snarling. Has to breathe through his mouth, and there's just decaying bones around his head. Bloodseeker has very large forearms. Like, his forearms are as thick as his back arms, and he has huge three-fingered hands, or huge hands with 3 fingers. He wears black fingerless glove wraps which cover half of his forearms, and he's got those big bladed tonfas, if I'm pronouncing that right. Tonfas? Tunfas? I don't know. I don't even know if that's the right word. They're like big blades that run next to or along his forearms. He holds them with handles. So if you wanted to hit something with the majority of the blade, he would have to hit them with his forearms in this sort of maybe chopping motion or elbowing motion. He could still stab them with the point of the blades with the punching motion, but the half moon blades are mostly like on the sides of his arms. The half moon blades are about as thick as his arms and go about a long finger's length in front of his hands to a long finger's length behind his elbows, which I think is a new unit of measurement I'm going to use from now on. The long finger's length. The blades are mostly white with thin red strips closest to his arms. They also have long runic designs in them. I should make a counter that counts how many times I say runic in these, because that's like my go-to when I don't know how to describe something. The blades are also splattered with blood, and the handles are red. He wears a long red loincloth thing that covers his upper waist to like up past his belly button. The long part hangs almost all the way to the floor. The red loincloth has long, light red, symmetrical, simple line designs going down it. And he has a cloth coming down, covering slightly past his butt as well. His large, meaty thighs are entirely exposed, and from the knees down, he's got Catman legs. They're bent backwards really far with the big ankle thing, and they become very thin, and they turn into small brown paws with 3 little black claws. And the claws aren't sharp looking, they're like dog claws. His feet are like dog paws. He probably has some foot and ankle problems because he's so top heavy, and he runs around everywhere really fast. Like, that's kind of his thing. He's the fastest one. Can cats get shin splints? Speaking of shins, he wears black shin sock wraps. That's a real word I typed. He wears black shin sock wraps that cover just above his darker brown paw feet to just below the knee. These have red rings at the tops and bottoms. And that's Bloodseeker. He is a snarling, half-naked catman priest with arm blades that looks like a bird. I should have done a hungover version on Sunday. Just been like...
Hey Chan, you drew Bloodseeker. This is a picture of real Bloodseeker. That's how it was.
Okay. Oh man. Oh. Let me see. He's more animal than I made my character. Mine's like... I actually do like their version more. He looks like Judge Dredd. That's what I was thinking when I started drawing him, and I made him less like Judge Dredd. It's like an animal version of Dredd. I guess really the only thing that really makes him more animal is just his mouth. I really wish I did this, the whatever, Tonkas? Yeah, that's pretty close. I mean,
How close is it?
it's like this close. Like one average penis length away.
One average.
One average
It's
penis.
so close.